The Secrets of Technology is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give. You're listening to The Secrets of Technology. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. And joining me today on the panel are Father Cory Stika. Hi, Father Cory.
How's it going?
Very well, thanks. And Joanne Mercier. Hi, Joanne.
Hello, hello.
This week, as the show releases, it's Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
And also with you.
Yes.
This is a very Catholic show. And so, given that it's Thanksgiving, it's also the day before. You're probably not listening to this on Thanksgiving. You're probably, having dinner. But this releases on Thanksgiving. The day after is Black Friday. The Monday after is the CyberMonday. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. People just shop. And frankly, this year, every day is CyberMonday for between now and Christmas. And as we did last year, and I think this is going to be our tradition going forward, is we're getting together and we're going to share some tech gift ideas for the techie in your life, or to put on your own list for the people who are trying to figure out what to buy you. So this is not necessarily a episode that I'm directing at my family, but perhaps. Anyway.
Hint, hint, hint. I know there's a couple things on my list that'd be like hint, hint, hint.
Same here.
Before we get to that, I do want to share with you a little information from our friends at Faith Life. As a listener of The Secrets of Tech, you may be a developer or know a developer looking for an opportunity to work for a company with a mission that matters. And Faith Life are the makers of Logos Bible software, Verbum Catholic Scripture Study software, which are now version 9, which look pretty awesome, and the integrated ministry platform for churches, and they're hiring full-stack developers. And most of the positions can be worked remotely, not just because it's 2020, but I think in general, ongoing, and they offer some competitive salary and benefits. So it's a company where their values, not only just Christian values, but also just their value to be awesome, and that's cool to hear. So if you're a developer or know someone, a developer looking for a new opportunity, you can check out their open positions at faithlife.com/careers, and then let them know that you heard about it on The Secrets of Technology. So I want to begin, before we get to our Christmas gift ideas, we have some listener feedback from our recent episode. Last time we had our discussion on smart home problems, and we got an email from Bill Norton. Bill says, "Hi guys, I really enjoyed this episode. I too love the promise of the smart home, but getting it working in real life has proved very difficult. Having conflicting ecosystems, in his case Amazon versus Google, in the same house makes it much more difficult for folks other than myself to use the smart home, so I'm ready to go all in on Google, mostly because of the integration with Photos," I think in this case Google Photos, "on the Nest Hub as a smart frame. The recent announcement about Google Photos is disappointing, but until we have more than 2 iOS users at home, I don't think Apple's offering is needed yet." It says, "I'd love to hear on a future episode if any of you have tried integrating Arduino or Raspberry Pi projects into your smart home setups. I hope to one day have smart window blinds and musically synchronized Christmas lights."
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Well, I think I should have looked up the episodes beforehand. I did talk about getting a Raspberry Pi a couple months ago and integrating that using the Homebridge software. And I use that as the Homebridge is literally, that's what it's about, bridging HomeKit and non-HomeKit compatible smart home systems. So it allows me to put Amazon's Ring cameras and doorbell in my HomeKit system. I can look at them as HomeKit compatible cameras, which is awesome, and I can control my Nest thermostat and that sort of thing. So I have used it for that. I would love to have, I'll have to do some more research and think of other ways I could use my Raspberry Pi for smart home projects of various sorts. Maybe I can turn on the coffee maker or something.
Yeah, I know you can get different things like he's talking about, like the Christmas lights and things like that, and that's very easily done with something like a Raspberry Pi or a Arduino.
Yep.
there's a lot of those little project kits you can get out there that'll let you do that, you know. And I think it would be a beneficial thing to kind of figure out, because it'd be kind of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
this is too, and, you know, like kind of flashing forward to one of my Christmas gift ideas is working with some of this electronic stuff that you can do where it's really hands-on, and you can do some really incredible things with something as simple as an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi. So,
And see, I totally understand his need to want to go to one ecosystem.
yes.
Because we're an Apple household, and lately the A-lady hasn't been playing nice with us. So instead of trying to work it out, I think I'm going to be moving to all Apple. I know there are going to be a few things I won't be able to get, like plugs or I forget what the other thing was, but if they as long as they work with HomeKit, that's what's going to work for me.
And that's mine. You know, I made kind of the decision to stick with Google with pretty much everything. And, you know, there are limitations to that, because there are things that only work with Amazon, like Ring doorbell. So I had to go with the Nest doorbell instead, because that's what works with Google.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. So you're going to have that trade-off if you go to a single platform. But the advantage is it does take that barrier of incompatibility out of there, generally.
One thing I did was decided that I still am bridging between HomeKit and Amazon, but I decided that for voice control of smart home stuff, we're doing all A-lady. We're doing all Amazon. And then for app control and automation, I'm sticking with HomeKit, and because that's mostly me. I'm mostly the one who does the apps and the automation. Although it is the one thing that Amazon doesn't do is the ability to control things. I mean, you can kind of go into the Amazon A-lady app on your iPhone, and it's not really that convenient. Whereas my wife likes to be able to pull down Control Center and turn off the kids' bedroom light at 10 o'clock when they're still reading, that sort of thing, and just make sure the lights are off and lock the front door from bed and that sort of thing. Whereas sometimes you don't want to wake people up or make noises, by giving the command to the Echo and that sort of thing. So we're at least segregating along those lines. But I get it. I get that need. And smart window blinds, I think, are a great idea. They're wicked expensive, except for the IKEA ones, which are not as what's the word? Adaptable.
Good. No kidding.
Well, you with the IKEA smart blinds, you kind of stuck within certain parameters of sizes and that, and how the app works. If you want things that are a little more versatile, that's the word I was looking for. You need something more expensive.
And that's where I wonder if he's a bit techie. If he's planning on doing the smart window blinds on his own, kind of a home project type of deal.
Oh, that could be. You use an Arduino.
It would be difficult. It's just kind of the technical side of it, because it's just hooking up a little electronic servo to your blind controls.
Yeah.
So
musically synchronized lights. I was watching MacBreak Weekly last week, and one of their picks of the week was Twinkly.com. They have smart home automated lights, and it is it's dangerously interesting in the sense of, wow, I could spend a lot of money doing this, because you do things like you can set up the light pattern on your tree, your Christmas tree, by just using your finger to draw on it on the screen of the app. It's just kind of wild.
My husband would divorce me for sure.
Yeah.
There are certain things electronically he will draw a line on.
Yeah. So thanks, Bill, for the email and for the great ideas. I think we do need to do more episodes on Arduino and Raspberry Pi for sure in the future.
Yes.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about our Christmas gift ideas. So we did this last year where we kind of go in a round robin, and we try to get gift ideas at various price points. So, it's always tempting to go for the really expensive stuff, but we also want to, give you some ideas for maybe things that might be stocking stuffers or, just regular under the tree things for young, for older, that sort of thing. So we've got a variety of things we can offer, and I'll start off with an expensive gift, and the reason I picked this one is because Father Andrew picked the other one of this last time he was on, but I'm picking or offering. This is not really picks of the week because I haven't used these things before, but one of my ideas is the new PlayStation 5. Now, obviously, the Xbox also has a new version out, and that could be a potential one. But the PlayStation I find very interesting. It plays a wide variety of different games. It can also do some of the streaming services. You can watch certain TV shows on it, so it acts as a TV streamer as well. And the VR stuff, Sony's got some good VR stuff that they get going, and I'm very curious about it. I've made no secret of the fact that I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I retain ever since my childhood this desire to fly in an X-Wing, and the idea of flying in an X-Wing wearing VR goggles, that sort of thing. That's the next best thing to being in The Mandalorian myself, and on their giant, VR stage that they do. So I'm gonna mention that just any of these game consoles that are new this season would be groundbreaking Christmas gift idea for the techie in your life. So I'll pass it over to you, Father Cory. What do you have to offer for your first Christmas gift idea?
Well, I'm going to tie off with the feedback and talk about an Arduino Starter Kit. I don't have the particular one, but I've got a different one that Radio Shack had at one point. And basically what an Arduino Starter Kit is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the tools that you need to start learning how to program an Arduino. Arduino, for those who don't know, it's a microcontroller. It's not like Raspberry Pi is a full computer. You plug it into a monitor and a keyboard and mouse, and you've got a full Linux-based computer. Arduino is a microcontroller. It's designed to do like one task, but do it well and be infinitely programmable because it's got all the inputs and outputs. It's got the programming language and everything. Very simple programming language. It's not like machine language or C++ or something like that. It's actually I think it's Lua. I can't remember exactly which it is. But this starter kit comes with everything you need as far as like a manual of kind of step-by-step how to program, doing different processes, doing different projects to learn the thing. It comes with all the electronic components you need as far as jumper wires, the breadboard where you plug the chip in and do all the connections and everything. It's got transistors, it's got push buttons, it's got LEDs, it's got there's a whole list of stuff. There's hundreds and hundreds of electronic components. And the idea is to learn how to do it, including like one of those alphanumeric displays like you see like on printers and things like that, so that you can get it to do feedback, where it's actually printing things on the display. And so it's a great way if you have any interest or someone who has any interest in learning microcontroller programming, learning electronics. This is like this is the modern version of the old Radio Shack, crystal radio kits you used to be able to get.
Heath kits, remember those?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So this is the new version of that. And what you can do, you can do some incredible things with Arduino. Like we're talking about the Christmas lights and things like that, So this would be a good way to learn that. So I've linked. Yeah. I picked the one that from the actual official Arduino store, but there's other ones as well. So
there are factories that are running on Arduinos out there. They can do everything. You don't have to solder though, right? There's no soldering involved.
That's what a breadboard does. So a breadboard allows you to you take your little Arduino board and you connect to this breadboard, and it's a box or little board. You plug your components into and you bridge them using these jumper wires.
Okay,
it's actually a prototyping thing. So like when people are designing PCBs, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll prototype it on these breadboards where they'll put all the components on the breadboard, make sure everything works, and then they can build a PCB that matches that.
Oh, okay. So sounds good. That's excellent. A good pick for kids. If you've got a kid who's kind of interested in electronics, or you think would be interested, or an adult who wants to do something. That's awesome. Joanne, what's your first pick?
My first one is one that I actually do use right now. And I think because a lot of people are doing a lot with video lately, that this is something that they could probably use. It's an auto gimbal called Gimbal. Okay. Now you have to spell it Gimbowl. Okay. And what you do with this is that you put your iPhone on it. This one is only iPhone adaptable. You try to put an iPad on this and it will definitely break. I tried. It didn't break, but I stretched the limit. And it's automatic. So you put the app, there is an accompanying app for both Google and iOS on your phone. And this little device will follow you wherever you go. That's what a gimbal does.
It will turn and the camera will follow you. Yeah.
Every direction. So if you're one of those people like me who paces when I present, if I'm standing up, then it will follow me across a room. These are good if you're outside especially, or indoors and you want to use your environment as part of your shot. Instead of always having to move the camera or take it with you and get all of that lovely up and down jumble effect. This is a stabilizer that will just go with you. It rotates 365 as well. Wow. So you can go quite around the room and it'll go 37 degrees up or down, so it'll, if you want to film, you want to be below it or above it. And it does it by face tracking. So what you'll see is this little square right around your face the entire time. But of course, you won't see that on the video. But it's a good little object. And right now, it was on one of those Today Show segments. And I took a look at it. And it's normally $79.99. But right now, as we're taping, it's $39.99.
Wow.
And for a little device, for as much as you're going to use it, maybe you just want to use it during the pandemic for certain things. Maybe you want to use it afterwards. I think it's a fun thing to have in your gadget kit for video, for people who are doing video.
I was going to say this. I was just thinking that, speaking of the pandemic, a lot of churches are doing live stream and priests are just setting up their cameras.
There you go.
And this looks like this would work beautifully for that.
And it's well priced.
The great thing is for that purpose, Father Cory, the better camera on almost every phone is the back camera. But the problem is you can't see yourself to make sure you're in the shot. Well, this will keep you in the shot automatically.
Exactly.
That's a great idea. The thing I was thinking of, like my wife likes to, especially when she's making dinner, she likes to do FaceTime calls with her mom or her sister, that sort of thing.
There's another one.
But she's moving around the kitchen. This is a way to kind of stay in the shot while she's talking to them. So that would be cool.
It's battery powered, and you can put it on a tripod.
Oh, that's also awesome.
So
cool. That's a good one. I like that. Thank you. So my next Christmas gift idea, I'm going to recommend it. And this was my pick last week. I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but I'm going to mention it again because this is great. I got the HomePod Mini, and I wasn't sure whether this was going to be as good as it is. When the original HomePod came out from Apple a few years ago, it was way overpriced, $350. I mean, crazy. And it's still too expensive at $300 each. I'm sorry, it's Apple. That's crazy.
I agree.
I mean, I would love it, but it's just too much. This is $99. This puts it slap dab in the accessible price range for me. It's as much as any of these other, smart speakers out there. And it sounds great. I use it for podcasts and on my desk. And I would love to get another one, put it in the kitchen to replace the use of the Echo that my wife does for. She listens to the Liturgy of the Hours podcast, the PlayStation Portable. To do that. What I love about it is the pairing with the iPhone. It's so good. Now you have to have an iPhone 11 or 12 that has the U1 chip in it, so that's a limitation. But one of the things that's great about it is if I want to transfer audio playing on my phone to the HomePod, the Mini, I just tap my phone on it and it automatically transfers like Snapchat. Oh, it was so good. I last time I talked about it, I wasn't sure how to get that working. That's because it was so easy. I was overthinking it. It was just, I'm like, boom. And it sounds good. It's not a huge device. It's not going to blow you away with the, audiophile sound quality, but it sounds better than the Echo, any of the Echoes we have. And it's really nice, and it's compact, and it's really good. So for $99, and I don't know if it's going to be on sale since it's brand new for Christmas, but it's a really nice gift, I think, for just about anyone.
Nice.
Putting it on my list.
And and you can pair them too. You can make them into a stereo pair, especially with an Apple TV 4K, I think it is.
Oh, good.
It looks like, and it's about the size of the like the Google Mini, and they're nice. I've got a couple of the Google Minis, and they're nice sized units.
Yeah, it's like a softball size. I mean, it's really
Is
small.
it bigger than the Echo, the little one, the Dot?
So the new round Dot, I don't think it's any bigger than it. It might be even smaller than it.
Okay,
but it's about the same footprint as the Disc Dot, which is what one I actually had. The original Dot, so it's about the same footprint of it on a desk or table. So it's and it has it plugs in via USB-C. So but you need a 20-watt, something that provides a 20-watt output. But if you've got a 20-watt output anywhere, you can use any 20-watt charger for that. It won't work off of a laptop, but so something has to be doing power delivery, I think, level of output. But if you've got a charger somewhere that's like I have multi-port chargers all over the house, and so I could just move it around, plugging it into that fairly easy. Father Cory, what's your next gift idea?
So I'm going with something for somebody who might be handy with cars. Of course, my pick last week was a car charger, a battery tender, basically. And this is something I ordered, and of course, bad timing. It's sitting at the UPS place because it's going to be delivered today. So by the time you hear this, I'll have it in hand and may even be able to post on my blog a review of it or something. But for any car that was built since 1996, they have what's called the OBD2 port, the onboard diagnostic port. And this is the little thing that's usually underneath your dash by your steering wheel somewhere that you can plug a scanner into and read what the car is doing, especially when that money light turns on, also known as the check engine light.
Yes.
This is what, when you take it to the dealer, you take it to a repair shop, this is what they look at to try to figure out what the car is doing. Well, you can get scanners, because this is an open format. You can get scanners that can read that. Well, as time has gone on, they've added more formats, more protocols. And so you can use OBD2, which is the general diagnostics of the car. You've got ABS, which is the anti-lock braking system. You've got the SRS system, which is your airbag supplemental restraint system, and more. And of course, the manufacturers add their own, which are closed. So, but my pick is a car scanner, an OBD2 scanner. Tried to say that 3 times fast with ABS and SRS scanning. And a lot of these can also clear the codes, because sometimes you'll get a code of, your oxygen sensor blurped and it turns on the light, but there's really nothing wrong with your car. It's just there was a hiccup in the sensor. You can clear the code, so then the light will turn off. This one, the one I picked, it's called Autel AutoLink AL619, and part of the reason why I picked it, it's normally a $250 scanner, but right now on Amazon, it's $100.
Oh, wow.
Because they have some special deals. I actually got it when I ordered it last week. It was $85. So one of the deals, there's like a bunch of promotions that have expired. One of them expired, but it's still on sale. So this is a really good deal. But this is something, if you like to tinker with your car, if you like to know what your car is doing, because, something you could do is, if you know your car has a problem, you could read this and then talk to your mechanic and say, here's what my scanner is showing. Maybe, this might give you some ideas to think about.
Right. And he could potentially tell you, that's an X number of dollars repair ahead of time before you have to bring it into the shop.
Yeah, exactly. You could just kind of call and say, okay, my car is showing code P1234. And the guy goes, oh, that's $4, $5, $6, $7.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah. Well, the other nice thing is, as you mentioned, if you can clear a code, then you can see whether it's a spurious error. Because if it comes back, then no, that's something that's still an issue. I really do need to take it in. So that's a good idea. Huh. Cool. Good pick. I like that. Joanne, what's your next gift idea?
Well, keeping with the pandemic theme, which I seem to be on right now, I just ordered this today from Amazon and will be arriving on Friday, Black Friday. It's called Phone Soap.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the device that was on Shark Tank originally, where you put your phone in it and it accommodates from small to large. And within 10 minutes, it's sanitized, case and all, if you have cases. We're looking, we were talking about it today, my husband and I, and I'm like, we're wiping down these things with wet. And I know they're supposed to be waterproof, but still. So, but I did read one. I had to read one review because I read reviews. And this one said, but when I took it out, the smudges were still on it. Well, yeah.
Well,
but they're clean smudges now. They're not full of, because it's an ultraviolet light.
It's UV light. It's not wiping it down or bathing it in anything. Right.
Well, I think this person thought that that's what this was going to be, hence the name Phone Soap. Thought it was going to sanitize it by actually doing something.
Right.
They make 3 different versions. I got the basic one, the one that you plug in to your electricity at home, and you can put it on you can put a desktop, you can put it on your nightstand, you put it in there for 10 minutes. You can also charge it while it's in there because the cord will be able to go in without hurting the mechanism.
Right.
And it says in the morning, you can still hear everything if it starts to beep and blurp, and you just have to open the case. And it's got 2 charging ports on the outside, USB-A and USB-C, so you can kind of daisy chain it to other things. They do have a pro version, which does it in half the time this one does it. Okay, 10 minutes versus 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to pay the extra money.
Right.
But they do also have a version that is portable, which means it's also a battery.
Oh, nice.
So you can charge it and just use it for sanitizing, or you can also use it as a portable charger for your phone. That's $100. But the one right now on Amazon, because there's a special on them right now, $63.41.
Wow.
They're originally $79. So if you're hearing this quickly, jump on it now.
Yep.
Another thing about it too is if you can, anything that fits inside, you can do it too.
Correct.
So if you've got wireless AirPods or that sort of thing, if
remote
they fit inside,
controls, keys, credit. I'd be afraid with the credit cards though. I want to know more about ultraviolet light and strips on the back.
In theory, it shouldn't do anything, but you never know.
I'd be more concerned if there's just any other magnetic fields inside the device too. That would be
more especially since if you get the one with the wireless battery.
Yeah. That'd be
a bigger concern.
But other stuff, any other electronic gadget that, because frankly, I mean, even if we're not in a pandemic, we all know phones are dirty. So
that they are.
So come home, throw your phone in it for 10 minutes, and then you're good to go. That's a great idea. All right, so I guess that's my turn next. I'm going to go for this is a less expensive, almost like a stocking stuffer. This one is Sugru Moldable Glue. Now, Sugru, I don't know how to pronounce it. I've heard it different ways, but Sugru. It's this clay-like substance. It's sort of like a plastic that you can mold into different shapes, and then it hardens and it becomes semi-permanent. And one of the things that's great about it is like you can repair stuff with it. Like if you're say you're hiking or you're camping and you've got a strap that's fraying or something, you can mold this Sugru around it, and that will give it some strength at least until you get home. Or I've seen it used to sort of put like in there on the Amazon page, they show different ways of using it. One thing you could do is like if you get scissors and they kind of cut into your hand the way they're shaped, you can put moldable cushions made out of the Sugru to cushion your fingers, that sort of thing. You can repair like shoes or boots. Like again, if you're out hiking and you get a hole in your boot or something, you can put some of this on it and it'll be waterproof. I've seen they have an example where you could put it on a pot, like a kitchen pot, metal handle, if it's always getting hot, you can put this around it and it will heat insulate. So it's Sugru moldable glue. The one I'm linking to is an 8-pack for $17. So you get a ton of it, and it will work with wood, glass, ceramic, plastic, and metal. And it says it holds up to 4.4 pounds. Like, if you get a planter, like a pot, it breaks, you can repair it with this. There's all kinds of, it's just limited by your imagination. There's all kinds of ways that you can do this. It's good for indoors and outdoors and all that sort of stuff. So Sugru. I don't know. Someone needs to tell me how to pronounce that, because I don't
Sounds
know.
like something from Despicable Me.
Yes,
exactly.
It's made by Gru. All right, Father Cory, what's your next idea?
So I've been a fan of retro video. Of course, they now call it retro video gaming. I call it the games I grew up with as a kid.
Yes.
For a long time, and it's always been a dream to have an actual arcade cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that can be expensive. It can be a lot of work and stuff like that. So now they have what are called tiny arcade games. And what they are is they're basically handheld arcade cabinets. They're remakes of the original arcade cabinets. So like Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Galaxian, Galaga, all these games you can get. And they're just little handheld versions of the actual cabinet where you can play the game on them. Little LCD display, and you got the buttons and the controls and everything, like you're actually standing at the cabinet. And they're not terribly expensive. You can get sets of 4 of them for like $100 from Amazon.
Uh-huh.
And there's all kinds. I picked one that it's a set of 4 of Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and Galaxian.
Ooh.
But you can get other ones. You can get Dig Dug, you can get Frogger, you can get all these great old games. And there's something you can kind of collect and enjoy. Or if you know someone like me that likes the kind of the retro video gaming, there's something you can kind of collect and have a shelf of all the old video games to play. So
cool.
They're kind of fun little toys that you can pull out and play. And they even have like a keychain where they're small enough you could carry them with them, like on a backpack or something like that.
And
so
it looks like you can get some of them individually for like, anywhere between from $16 to $20 too. So
they're not terribly expensive at all.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of these games are emulated in other ways, but this is just kind of a fun way to do it.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cool. I like that. All right, and then Joanne, what's your next gift idea?
Okay, for those of you who do Mac Break Weekly, I'm going to go all Alex Lindsay right now and come up with, if you are looking for a computer right about now, you really need to look at the Apple Mac Mini. Okay, right. I am truly looking at this probably for my office. So somebody else can pay for it. But even so, I think for the price right now, what you're getting is worth it, especially with this M1 chip. They've done a lot of tests on them, and things seem to be moving very quickly on these machines, as opposed to those of us who have the Intel chips. But I picked this also for those people who are looking especially to get computers for home and for education, because this one will come for an extra $200 with a Pro Apps bundle for education. And that's what caught my eye, because I see all these things that they try to bundle. And they try to say, you can get Final Cut Pro, you can get Logic Pro, and they want you to spend $200 each. Mm-hmm. You're getting in this bundle Final Cut Pro, Motion Compressor, Logic Pro, and Main Stage for $200 total.
Wow.
That's what caught my eye, whether this is just a Christmas special or something that they're planning to do for a while with this particular machine. I was like, if you've got a kid at home who's into IT, who wants to learn movie, audio, video production, this is what you get right now, because this is going to work fine. I'm sure you have a monitor at home, keyboards, mice. I'm sure you get all that, and that's all this plugs into.
Right.
What you may have to get with it, because it's USB-C, is one of those hubs. If you have a lot of other peripherals that you need to plug into it, because this particular chip right now only gives you 2 USB-C outs so that you can plug other things into. I don't know if it's got to be part of the architecture for the moment. Right. But I think for its price and for what it can do, it will beat probably a lot of the Intel Windows machines. And you can put Windows on it, get parallels.
Right.
But this is for your super geek in your life and the kids who might want to learn this type of production. I think it's worth it.
So the bundle is through the Apple Education Store. So that Pro Apps bundle. So, but if you have a student of either, if you're homeschooling, or if you're college, K-12, whatever, or
and if you're a teacher,
right? If
you're
a teacher,
it counts.
And often if you work for a, say, Catholic parish that has a school or that sort of thing, that you also can get the education. The education discount is fairly liberal, in the sense of how they consider you to be part of education. So you can get that bundle with that. And as far as the M1, I'm following these reviews, and it's not just the fanboys who are geeking out over these new M1 chips. These things, like the MacBook Air, their lowest laptop, is outperforming with crunching 4K video, outperforming the iMac Pro. Like, this is, I'm looking forward to, in about a year or two, looking at once they have the Apple Silicon chips in the iMacs, what it's going to be doing, and crunching through audio processing like a hot knife through butter would be really nice. Yeah, in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the Mac Mini.
Yeah. Because
of its profile, because of what it could always do in a small package. Now it can really do stuff in a small package.
Yeah, if I were looking, I would be looking at a Mac Mini if I were looking for something for the price too. $679. Yeah. Just wow.
I would put one caveat is you mentioned running Windows on it right now. According to Parallels, anyways, at this moment you cannot do Windows or Linux, anything on the M1 chips
under Parallels.
That is coming out sometime soon. They are working on it, so probably by the new year, you will be able to run Parallels, which Parallels is the emulation, the virtual machine that allows you to run Windows or Linux or something like that under Mac OS. So just a real quick caveat that if that is a concern for you, you might want to wait until after the new year when this comes out.
Yeah.
Right. And some of the software, if you have specialized software like we do for audio recording, some of that is not yet compatible. It will be. So these are some concerns you should think about. But if you're using Apple's apps, if you're mainly, they will like that bundle, you're fine. So
and by this time next year, all these, pretty much all these wrinkles will be ironed out. I mean, these companies are working on making everything work. It's just right now, because it is a new hardware, new architecture. There's some questions.
But I throw it out there because there are a lot of people who are looking for this type of stuff, and I'm 6 months too late. As usual.
Right. Yeah, I bought a new laptop in August, so I'm like, no!
Go is right.
So, all right, that brings me back to me. My next pick is also a computer, but this is not in the Mac Mini range. This is the Raspberry Pi 400 computer kit. I think this was a pick last week, or in recent weeks on the show. But this is, so we've talked a lot about Raspberry Pi. This is a new product from Raspberry Pi, and what this is it looks like the keyboard that you can get for Raspberry Pi, except the computer is in it. And everything is all in this, all in one. It kind of harkens me back to the old Commodore 64 days, and where the keyboard was the computer and all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of what this is. And again, for all those reasons we talked about Raspberry Pi and Arduino earlier, this is a great little computer, very inexpensive. Like the starter kit, with the computer that's in the keyboard, the mouse, the cables, all that sort of stuff. It's for $100. That's just out of the box. You're ready to go. You can get it in smaller components and all that sort of stuff, even cheaper. But yeah, it is pretty awesome little computer. And if you want to give it to someone who you want to get them to play with it, my son, I got to tell you, he's 8. He keeps picking up that Raspberry Pi projects book and leafing through it. I'm like, I really need to get him one of his own because I think he's ready to go for it. But so it's pretty cool little computer. Father Cory, what's your next Christmas gift idea?
So speaking of the Commodore 64, that was my elementary school into high school computer was a Commodore 64. And it was a very popular computer. I mean, they sold millions. It is to this day of the single model of computers. Now, of course, there have been billions and billions of PCs made.
Right.
But of single models of computers, it is the most selling single model computer ever. Because they sold it for almost 10 years, and they sold lots of them for almost 10 years. Well, a few years ago, during the mini console blitz, when Nintendo brought out their NES Mini and there was PlayStation Mini and all that, a company called Retro Games Limited brought out the C64 Mini, and it was a small, little bigger than a deck of playing cards, miniature Commodore 64. The keyboard didn't work, but you could play Commodore 60 video games in there. You could plug a keyboard, regular PC keyboard into it, USB keyboard into it, and actually do the basic programming on it like you could on the old Commodore 64, where, again, like Dom said, it was the keyboard was the computer. Mm-hmm. You literally just plug this keyboard into the TV and the power, and you could do your programming and everything. Well, early this year, they came out with the C64, and it is a life-sized actual Commodore 64 with the actual working keyboard where you can type on it. It does have USB connectors, so you can use a regular USB keyboard or USB joysticks. Because of course, that's the big thing: is you buy a Commodore 64 to play games on it, retro games, and it's pretty impressive. It sounds like it feels like a real Commodore 64, and I actually have in a box right now, but I actually have like an old Commodore 64, and I want to get one of these and compare the two of them as far as size and everything, because they look like they're pretty close. But it's a pretty neat kit. You buy the kit. It comes with a joystick and a bunches of games. I think there's like 80 games or 60. Of course, 64 pre-installed games.
There you go.
But it does output via HDMI at 720p. But you can make it look like the old,
8-bit
3x2 screen with the raster lines. It emulates the C64 and a VIC-20.
Wow.
The VIC-20 was the predecessor to the C64, very similar architecture, but not identical. And it is I think it is technically considered emulation. It's not like some of these where it's a computer on a chip. It actually is it's more like a Raspberry Pi emulating these particular computers.
Okay.
So, but it can do so much, and you can play. You can even, if you've got the images of the discs, the actual original Commodore disc, a file image of it, what they call a D64 file, you can load that on. You can load your own games on it. You can save your own games and everything.
Nice.
So it's pretty incredible.
I want Apple to release, the version of this for the Apple IIgs or something. You know what I mean? I would like that. They'll never do it. They don't. That's below them or something. But I would take me back. I used to have a Apple IIgs WAS edition. That I missed dearly all the time because it was such a great computer. And that's a good pick. I was not a C64 owner, but I did want one for a while. That's for sure.
Well, and of course, back at the time, they were the gaming computer.
Yeah. Yep, that's all the cool games.
If you wanted a computer that you can game on it, that was it.
Yep.
Apple II could not match. IBM's couldn't match.
Nope.
The Commodore 64 was it.
That was it. Yep. Joanne, what's your next pick?
Well, my next one is the smallest item with the biggest name. Believe it or not, it is the Table Tote Plus Black Collapsible Portable Compact Lightweight Laptop Notebook Computer Travel Stand.
Wow.
Yeah, try saying that 3 times fast.
Yes.
But what it is, and again, I saw this, I watch these morning shows, and I saw this on the Today Show. It is basically a collapsible desk. It goes about, they say, between 12 and 30 inches high, and you can put it on the floor, on a desk if you want to stand up. Mm-hmm. And it comes with a phone holder because it's only so big. Okay, it's going to put you can put your laptop on it, but what are you going to do with everything else? They've got a phone holder, a cup holder, and a document holder.
Wow.
That all snaps together. Now, then you put the whole thing, it's all in a little square, and it supposedly fits in your briefcase.
Huh.
Right. So it's one of those things that isn't just, I'm looking at it not just for notebook, for laptops, but also for projectors. When you go out and present, this is the kind of table I like to use for presenting.
Right.
You have to put a projector on, because I'm usually using an iPad to control a projector anyway. So, but that's just me, the geek. It's $40.
Wow.
That's it.
That is pretty impressive.
And it's supposed to be a pretty sturdy, the reviews say it's a pretty sturdy stand. It's steel, it's got aluminum, it's steel and aluminum. The tabletop, of course, is plastic, but you've got aluminum legs on it that are telescopic.
Huh.
So I think it's a pretty good thing for folks when we ever get back out there, that we can take it with us, or even home now when you're even downstairs outside of your office and you want to do something. You don't want to put the laptop on your lap because it gets warm or whatever. I think this is for $40. This isn't a bad stocking stuffer type of, if you get a big stocking, you can put it in there. Right now, however, they won't be in stock until December 14th.
Oh, get your order in now so you get the first one.
Your order in now if you're really looking for something like this in your life.
Yep. Or do what I do and give presents on the Feast of the Epiphany. That way you
there you go. January 6th is a beautiful day.
Yeah,
that's why being a priest is great, because we don't really get to see our families till after Christmas.
Right. You hit the sales.
Exactly.
Good. That's another good one. Yeah, I like the idea that you say, if you don't want to put a computer on your lap because it gets too hot, or some of us don't actually have laps, like we have short arms and big bellies, and so it's kind of hard to type on them. So I'm a little bit like a T-Rex that way. So having this, something I can move around easily, like, you can use, sometimes the foldable tray tables and that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know if you've ever noticed, every time you move one, it wants to collapse and you've got your computer on it. Like this looks like it's
it looks
sturdier.
Like 4 independent aluminum legs.
Yeah,
which is,
if the legs if the locking mechanism on the legs is solid enough that it keeps them up, that sounds like a really great deal. So that's a good idea. That's very good. I like the using it for a projector too. There are a lot of people out there who have to do that sort of thing. Excellent. So I have one more on my list, and this is one that it goes to it touches my heart, because this is exactly the sort of thing I would have wanted when I was a kid. This is the Little Bits Star Wars Droid Inventor Kit, and what it does is it lets you build a programmable droid. It comes with all the parts. You could build R2D2, and there's a couple of different options you could do, but I think it's mainly for building R2D2. You build R2. There's an app for your phone, of course, and then you can program them to do stuff. And what a great idea! I mean, it's just kids will love it. It works for Android and iOS, and it's just a nice way to teach kids basics of programming, electronics building, and it'd be a fun thing to do with your kids if you're also a Star Wars fan and as a grown up. So a lot of fun. It's not the cheapest thing. It's $80, but I think it looks worth it to have this sort of project and to have something you can drive around, like a little R2D2 to follow you around. I mean, who doesn't want that?
Well, and it's a clear R2D2 too, so it's
you can see inside them, and they have different kits with different accessories. Like you can make different. Change out some of the parts to make different droids in different colors, and so if you want a pink R2 unit or you want to make R5 or that sort of thing, you can do that. So a lot of fun. All right, so we did have a couple of our other collaborators on the panelists on the show who had some ideas to offer as well. Father Cory, you were going to mention Father Andrew's pick.
Yep. Father Andrew gave us one through our little Slack channel. And this is one I've been eyeing very strongly. It's hard to get right now, but it's I think it's like the must-get gift. So, of course, I've played Mario Kart, like so many Nintendo people. We've all played Mario Kart and love Mario Kart, and there's been 500 revisions of Mario Kart. Well, this year, Nintendo brought out Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. Mm-hmm. And right now, they have 2 sets, Mario and Luigi. And it's an actual remote control car that you control with your Nintendo Switch.
Uh-oh.
And what you do is you set up in your house or wherever you are. You can do it outside if you've got, I think it does, it requires Bluetooth. I don't think it needs Wi-Fi. but you can basically set up a track in your house and drive your remote control car around using your Switch. Well, but what you see on the Switch is a Mario Kart game. So you're seeing the camera from the kart, from the remote control car, and then overlaid it is the other Bowser and everybody else from Mario Kart, and you're racing them around your house. And as you're watching it on the Switch, and you can look down and watch the car go through the track.
Yep.
So it comes with the car. It comes, of course, well, you can download the game, and then it comes with these paper checkpoints. Like, of course, in Mario Kart, you've got different checkpoints you got to go through for the timer. And so you set up these checkpoints, and you drive the car around to create the track in the game, and then you run the track with the opponents. And you can do multiple players. I think you can do. Well, if you do multiple players, you have to have multiple cars.
Right.
So each person has their own car. So that can get a little expensive because they're right now in about the $150 range each. Wow. If you can find them.
Right.
Because they're very popular right now, to say the least. But they look like a lot of fun, especially if you've got like a nice big open living room or something like that, where you can set up a great, big track. It could be a lot of fun.
Okay. Cool. So you get an actual literal car that comes with it.
Yep, an actual remote control car.
And then there are virtual cars that you're racing against in it if you're playing alone.
Yep,
that's cool. That is, yeah. Father Andrew picked that a few weeks ago as his pick of the week, and yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I think this is the must-have toy of the season. I think this year.
Yeah. And to be clear, of course, you do need a Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
It is not a standalone thing. It only runs on Nintendo Switch because it's Nintendo. They're not going to put it on the PlayStation or anything like that.
Right. Exactly. Then Thomas Underho has also a suggestion. He says this is for the electrician or the hobbyist electrical nut like him in your life. It is a handheld oscilloscope. So the handheld oscilloscope, waveform generator, multimeter, 3-in-1 multifunction tester. This does it all. It's oscilloscope, multimeter, waveform generator that you can carry around with you. And I'm not an electrician or electrical nut, so I won't be able to get into the details. But he says this is a very good device, and it's available at a pretty good price at $186, which seems pricey, but apparently this is a good deal for something that does all the things that this does. So just throw that one out there too.
If you look at some of the ones you might see, like if you watch the Ben Heck show, if you watch the stuff he does, those are upwards of $1,000 for a really good one,
right?
For a professional one. So something like this for less than $200 is pretty good.
Yep, definitely. All right, I think that does for our gift ideas this time. Now, if the listeners, if you have a Christmas gift ideas for techies or that you'd like to get for your tech self this year, we'd love to hear your suggestions, and we'll share them in future episodes coming up through December. And so let us know. I'll throw out the email now. You can email us at technology@sqpn.com. We'd love to hear your suggestions for Christmas gift ideas. So before we get to our picks of the week, because we're still doing picks of the week, that's a tradition we do, even if we've done gift ideas. I do want to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create Secrets of Technology, including Matt L., Joe D., Marshall B., Dave D., and Catherine O. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Technology and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. So, Father Cory, what's your pick of the week this week?
We, of course, with stay at home and everything and this wireless or, paperless society, we still have paper.
Yes.
And, sometimes we do need to get this paper to someone else, a form that we need to fill out or notes or documents or whatever. And something I think we actually kind of get away from is the idea of a scanner. An actual paper scanner, because a lot of people are, we've gotten the phone cameras have gotten so good, you can actually just take a picture. If you got good lighting, can take a picture of the paper and send it. And that works. But sometimes there's times when we want like an actual scanner. And I was kind of in that situation. So recently I bought a Brother DS740D. This is another one of these long title items, but duplex compact mobile document scanner. The title is longer than the device is. And it's one of these little sheet feed portable scanners where it's not a flatbed. It's just you feed the paper in and it runs it through. And I picked this particular one because it's duplex. It's double-sided in one pass.
Nice.
So it's got 2 scanner decks. And it does a really good job. One important fact is scanner support is not always the best, and Mac, let's be honest, does not have good scanner support.
Right.
There's a lot of scanners they do not support. A lot of like your all-in-one units don't support Mac and things like that. They'll support the printer function, but not the scanner function. This one does work with Mac. Now you have to download the Brother scan tool to do it. iScan and print or whatever they call it, iPrint and scan, something like that. But once you have that, it works great. So I bought it here for my little office. It sits here right in front of my screens. It's just kind of all the way. It's a little longer than a typical 8.5-11 sheet of paper, but it's only a couple inches wide. And you flip up the top so that you've got the rest and just zip it through and it goes.
And it does OCR in the software, right?
I believe it does. I haven't even played with that.
Oh, okay.
But, the biggest thing I got it for was just to be able to take a picture of, the scan in an image of whatever. And it does, you can save from the tool to PDF, which I think most people are going to do, but it also does like JPEG and PNG and stuff like that. So.
Cool. Nice. Good idea. And it's inexpensive at about $120. That's a good pick.
Not expensive either. So, and Brother makes good equipment. So, it's going to last you for a while.
Excellent. Joanne, what's your pick?
Still on the pandemic thing, but not really. The churches that I work for installed a system of video cameras and audio for our live stream. However, the parish that I worship with has been using an iPad and this little device that I'm picking this week called the Rode Videomic Me. And there were 2 versions. The one I'm picking is the Videomic Me -L, because that's for lightning ports.
Oh.
Remember, there are those iPads and iPhones that still have the microphone audio jack in them, and you can get this without the audio jack adapter, but this is for those of us who have abandoned that for whatever reason or another and need to go through the lightning port. It is a high-powered microphone that picks up way better than the microphone inside of the iPad or iPhone, especially when you're a distance away from your subject. So, for example, when I place the iPad in front of the altar for my presider, it's not as, if I didn't have this mic on it, it would be really garbled and you'd have to do a lot in post-production. For this, no, this really picks up the sound.
Nice.
And for $79.99, it's a wonder. It snaps right in. There's no other mess or fuss. There is an audio jack on the, if you want to put a headphone in, if you want to be attached to it all the time, or if you want to put it into a board or something. But we've been using it now for 9 months. And it's been dropped a couple of times. It's been put in people's pockets, not washed yet. And it's taken a licking and keeping on ticking.
Nice.
So I'm going to get one for my iPad because I do a lot of other stuff on the outside with my priests and everything, and we're not always using the cameras. So this should pick them up a whole lot better. It's the Rode Videomic Me.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. It's a directional microphone, and Rode makes quality microphones. I use a Rode microphone for podcasting, and they have high quality audio equipment. So this is very nice. If you have an iPad that still has a lightning port, just keep in mind that future iPads are unlikely to have lightning ports.
Like no.
Yeah. Or if you have a iPad Pro or the brand new Air, they are USB-C. So just keep that in mind when you're picking something. But yeah, that's a really great idea, having this kind of microphone, especially on your phone, if you're doing it there. Excellent. So my pick is another messaging app. We talked a few weeks ago. I think Pat picked the Signal messaging app. This is a new one, and I was kind of interested. This one I found about. There's a YouTube channel called Smarter Every Day, and his name's the guy who does it is Destin. He's really great, a really interesting presenter who really makes science topics really accessible, and he's an engineer by training and trade. And he was talking about recently that he got together with some programmers. I think they started this a couple years ago to recreate secure messaging from the ground up, to start with a blank slate and figure out how do we make messaging secure for everyone involved. And there are some holes in messaging, even for things that are supposedly secure, like if you send someone a photo or a video, they can screenshot it. And even though, like Snapchat has this thing where if someone screenshots a snap, it will inform the sender. But there's a way around that by going into airplane mode and doing the screenshot and then coming out of airplane mode, that sort of thing. This is actually very interesting. A couple of things it does. For one thing, they don't hold the encryption keys. The encryption key is on your device, and the handshake between the two messaging recipients is done by the devices, not by anything in between. So even if they get a subpoena from the government, there's no way they can give those keys out. So it's secure there. The other thing it does is it's got this interesting watermark feature where if I send a photo, say I take a picture of my house and I send it to Father Cory, and I don't want my picture of my house to be on the internet or something, and I want to make sure that whoever I send it to, I don't know, this is sort of like keeping people honest. It's not that I distrust you, but just that it's just keeping everybody honest. It will watermark the photo with your name and your phone number, because this is tied to your phone. So your cell phone number will be on this photo. So if you leak my photo, you leak your phone number at the same time attached to it. That you can also at any time revoke access to anything you've sent to someone. You can delete messages or files or photos that you send. You can put a time limit on it. You can revoke at a later date. You retain complete control. It's really fascinating. He has it. They're in a sort of quiet launch at this point. That Destin shared a video to people who are patrons, and I'm a patron of his channel because I enjoy it so much. So it's out there. It's free for personal use. They have a team, like a company or team. It's like the Slack model where it's free for small users. If you're doing this for business, they ask you to buy it and that sort of thing. It comes with a small cloud storage vault for you. It works on iPhone, Android, and all the desktops. So it's really interesting. And if you have a need ever to share things privately, which lawyers, doctors, priests maybe sometimes need to share things that should be private, shouldn't get out, or any of us. I mean, sometimes I want to talk to my wife and share like health-related documents or that sort of thing between our phones, that sort of thing. So it's at getlockdown.com, and just check it out. See what you think of it. There's no cost to do it. So, and that's my pick of the week.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very good thing.
So I think I should do it for us. What did you think of our discussion, our Christmas gift ideas, or any of our picks of the week? You can let us know by commenting on the show at sqpn.com/technology, or the SQPN Facebook page, facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, or send an email to technology@sqpn.com. And we'll have links to all of our Christmas gift ideas and to our picks of the week on our show notes at sqpn.com. If you can, please remember to like each episode of Secrets of Technology on Facebook. We're on Instagram, where we're StarQuest Network. You can also retweet us on Twitter, where we're at SQPN, and leave us comments and let us know what you think of the show, and if you have any comments to give us, any feedback. Until next time, Joanne Mercier, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of technology.
Thanks, Dom.
Father Cory, thank you as well.
Thank you, Dom.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Technology on StarQuest, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.